everyone, and welcome to this edition of the Bremerton Beat Blast. I'm your host, Kitsap's son, Reporter Josh Farley. I'm standing in the Harborside Fountain Park in downtown Bremerton, right next to the Ferry terminal, as you might be able to tell. And as always, I've got 5 stories that you just got to know about happening in Bremerton this week. So what do you say we get to them? Story number 1 on our list this week is the Ferry Hayak right behind me. Now, there was some consternation this past week when the Hayak left Seattle on the 10:30 p.m. sailing, only with about 550 people on board. What gives? The Hayak has capacity for 2,000. Ed Friedrich did some research, our military and transportation reporter, and found that at those late hours between the 10:30 and the 12:50 a.m. sailings, there's only one Bremerton ferry aboard. What does that mean? Well, it means that the vessel can only sail at that time with as many life preservers and rescue boats as will accommodate that many people. So only 550 could go. It's already taxing enough knowing that we don't have a boat in between. At 11 o'clock, I know many of you have been to those Mariners games and thought, well, I guess we're just going to bag the last 3 innings because we got to get home. Well, this is another challenge on top of that. Story number 2 on our list this week is that Umami Sushi is open right here in downtown Bremerton. You might remember Umami as Ichizen Sushi. It was once Ichizen. The people that owned that retired, and the new couple that owns Umami kind of were taken under their wing by the previous owners, so they have all the same menu options that you could expect to find at Ichizen. However, they were also hoping to introduce some Korean flair into the mix, so look for that when you get a chance. Story number 3 on our list this week. Well, it didn't look like this town was big enough for another donut shop. We all love Larry and Christie's on the east side there in Manette, but there is another donut shop coming to Bremerton. If you've been on 6th Street lately, you've probably passed it. Right about Naval Avenue, where the old Baskin and Robbins used to be, there will soon be a donut shop. They've put up their signs. I spoke with Jerry Soriano. He's the property manager for the location, and he says that they are indeed doing a donut shop. It'll be up and running. He doesn't have a date for opening yet, but when I know more, be assured, Bremerton, I will pass along the word to you. Story number 4 on our list this week is a man who almost got his house taken out by a tree.
I mean, it's a big, it's about the size of a telephone pole crashed on my house.
If you've been down to Gregory Way near Naval Avenue, you've seen these towering white pine. There's 4 of them. They're huge. We're talking 110 feet tall or so. The city is planning to cut them down. A storm on March 1st blew one of the leaders of one of the trees down through this man's house, Mr. Ed Whitmire, and unfortunately, he was not able to get out of the house through his front door. It did that much damage. There's damage to his home, and the city is going to go ahead and pay for him to get his house fixed. And finally, story number 5 on our list this week, I did a brief update on the property owned by Natasha and Bill Sesko. You may know this property. It's on the 3500 block of Arsenal Way. It has become littered again. The city went through a very long fight, we're talking more than a decade, to get this property cleaned up. It was once the site where big bands played during World War II, and even the Seattle band Heart played there in the 80s when it was Natasha's. But the property, of course, fell into disrepair. It was cleaned up once. Now it is dirty again. So city officials are standing by. They're waiting to see what the guardianship for Ms. Sesko does with the property. They are said to be cleaning it up. We'll see in the coming months ahead if they are able to accomplish that task. That's going to do it for this edition of the Bremerton Beat Blast. Hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you have a great rest of your week, and we'll see you again next Tuesday.